Greetings. This is Robert Forsch with the truth. The truth about everything that I've been able to find out about. And I got a couple recordings going. One of them will be uploaded later, and we'll have the Zoom feature you might find interesting. High tide this morning was at 6:44, and now the tide is going out. It was simply a 4-foot tide today. A beautiful day. A lot of guests are here from all around, college students, retirees, people that have a lot more discretionary time because of economic worldwide collapse and reset that is in process right now. I would encourage everybody to get the things that you believe you should have on hand as quick as you can, because supply chains are going down. Take a walk around, look in your stores, and see the things that are not being replenished. And so this is a real serious time. I encourage everybody to seek the truth with all your heart, because, well, it matters for eternity. How about that? Oh yeah, yes it does. So I've got the YouTube channel I call Truth, and I'm going to show you my contact information there. And you can reach out and call me anytime if you care to. If you type in the hashtag in my name, you'll see a lot of results. Thousands. It used to be over 3,600 results on Google, and now it's been reduced to less than 1,000 results. I don't know how that fluctuates or why. Artificial intelligence is very sophisticated and powerful, and will present information to some while hiding it from others. There's an actual kaleidoscope of conspiracy theories, and then right about in the middle of all of that confusing, contradictory bunch of information and theories, there's the truth about whatever it is you want to know about. So one of the questions that I encourage everybody to do is to seek the truth with all your heart, with all your ability. In a world that has a lot of confusing, contradictory perspectives, one of the things that you can know is that the Bible is reliable and it's true. God's Word, the Bible. Jesus Christ is known by His own words, as He says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but through me." Corinthians talks about that human nature, a man in his own volition doesn't seek God. It's not human nature to want to know the truth. Divine intervention is required to ultimately find the most important truth and to actually be born again. I thought I was born again in 1982 until I actually was in 2014. And one of the things that happened was I wanted to know the truth more than anything else. One of the questions that I had was, if I was truly born again, why was I struggling with things I was supposed to be free from? Well, I wasn't born again yet. And I know that's going to upset some people. In the truth movement, there's a veritable spiritual smorgasbord going on. People want a little of this, a little of that. There's a dynamic called confirmation bias, people looking to find evidence for what they either already believe or want to believe. By definition, what we believe to be true. People don't knowingly believe a lie. They just may be deceived. By irony and paradox, the deceived are unaware that they are in fact deceived. To be intellectually honest, if I were deceived on a topic, I wouldn't even know it. So one of the powerful realities is that the Earth isn't moving. That means all the space fantasy and supposed moon landing and President Nixon talking on a vintage, well, it was a classic black landline, talking to the astronauts from the Oval Office. There was no delay. I understand they could have had some kind of an uplink through Houston and all that. Houston, we have a problem. I'll tell you what the problem is. For them, people are finding out that the whole space fantasy is a lie. I'm one of the people telling on them. I mean, Elon Musk almost lost Tesla Motors until SpaceX got a huge infusion of over $1.5 billion to supply the space station, the ISS. I could have done it with a pickup truck because they aren't going to space. The ISS, the space that they're going to, is between the ears of humanity. The reason why that's a big deal is the official experts on things cosmological, they're lying. They meander off into formulas and theories that do not reflect the reality of the world around us. So I don't need to get in a rocket and go to space to prove we don't live on a globe. The content on my channel proves that. Some of it I've created, others I've found and shared. So there's talented content creators that may have different pieces of the puzzle. They may not have the whole thing. I'll share it anyway. I'll even share official NASA videos and SpaceX. Hopefully you can see that it's fake. Rocket launching is real in many cases. Rockets landing on drone pads out in the ocean, unlikely. Doesn't look real to me. I feel like I woke up in an episode of The Twilight Zone. That's what it looks like to me. The Twilight Zone was one of my favorite out-of-the-box kind of programs. We've been programmed all our lives. How about that? How's your programming going? The wonderful thing about YouTube is we have, in the internet at large, YouTube specifically, is it's the largest video platform in the world, and it's the second biggest search engine in the world, second only to Google, which is the parent company of YouTube. I've recently featured a video on my research library that explains how you can create a YouTube channel. A lot of my subscribers don't have a channel, and they don't have any content. And I want to help people know that you can create a playlist and share that link. And one of the other things that I had been encouraging people to do for years is to like videos you want to share with people and make your liked videos playlist publicly visible. And it used to be when I liked a video, it was shared tens of millions of times because of my determination and persistence in sharing my YouTube channel and playlist liked videos link everywhere I could. Well, I've been viewed personally, me personally, over 40 million times on PewDiePie, Logan Paul, Triggered Tro, the London Guardian, the BBC, and other networks. And then, of course, YouTube. And so it's views of me personally. Now, the artificial intelligence is powerful and knows a lot. God knows it all. Omniscience looks like omniscience. It's the capacity and the reality of God knowing everything. He created this place. And I want to let you know that being born again is an awesome reality. Got my friend Larry coming out here on the paddle board. We should get a nice reflection and shadow here. This is a wonderful outreach area. I meet fascinating people from all over the world here. Last year we had over 20 million guests apparently in the Grand Strand of Myrtle Beach. They call it the Grand Strand. It's 60 miles of sand. Hey, you're on, Larry. Good to see you, man. Oh, excellent. Thanks. One of the real interesting things about the paddleboard is that we'll see Larry standing up, and then he is. We can see the water moving up and down, and the way his head will go up and down in relationship to the non-curving horizon. There we go. You'll be able to see that better on the zoomed in view. This is at the Cherry Grove Fishing Pier in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm going to zoom in a bit on the Myrtle Beach skyline. It's beautiful. In fact, let's walk on over a little bit. You got the parasailing boats, Aloha Water Sports over there. I've done that parasailing, it's wonderful. I've raced high performance motocross, motorcycles, and jet skis. I've had an interesting life so far. When I was actually born again, I became just absolutely compelled to want to help people understand that much of what we've been told for most of our lives, most of my life, has been not true. It's been a lie. So how will you know the truth when it's right in front of you, the reality of the world we live in? So on some of my videos, I'll feature the time-lapse video footage from all over the world. So there are talented content producers worldwide whose work I share. Now that where Larry is, see how that water moves up and down? Now we can't see his feet, and then we will. There his feet are now. So that's part of the dynamic of apparently ships vanishing over the horizon. It's an optical perspective. Let me zoom in on a boat a long ways away, show you a similar dynamic. So people have, I've heard a lot of arguments about why the flat earth isn't true. Well, it's not actually flat. For years I've been staying stationary and level, and water basically exposes the global lie. So right there is the jetty in the zoomed in view, and we can see a boat coming on out. That's less than 7 miles away. We can't see the bottom of the pylons there because of moisture. That's where ships and boats sometimes go through. I want to talk about a couple of things that I believe are really important. There are elements within the salt water that are very therapeutic for the body. Walking on the wet sand, standing in the ocean is being grounded, electrically speaking. We live in an electric universe, an electric world. Part of the evidence of that would be the fact that we have lightning and the aurora borealis, the northern lights. Got them featured on my channel. And the atmosphere is positively charged, and then the earth is the ground. It's the negative charge. And so when we're walking around on carpet and shoes, wearing shoes and not connected to the earth, there's a little bit of cellular aggravation. And then walking barefoot on the beach feels good. A lot of people do it. Even if you're wearing shoes and you're in the ocean, you're grounded then too. You can be grounded with shoes on if you're in the salt water. There's elements, like I said, within the salt water that help the body, especially dealing with some of the cellular perturbance or toxification brought on by electronics, dirty electricity, and more. The 5th generation technology for cellular communications causes harm for some people, and with the more recent pandemic, as it's been termed, has not nearly as many deaths as we're being told legitimately, because they'll attribute almost any kind of a death to a COVID death. Less car accident deaths and cancer deaths and skydiving deaths because of COVID. Less flu deaths, all of that, because they're attributing by their own narrative to COVID-19. Just so you know. So even if you apply your own critical thinking and apply that to what they're officially saying as the World Health Organization, Anthony Fauci, Donald Trump, it's obvious that they're lying. Okay? So there's a lot of lying going on. If you would care to explore my channel and the content that I've shared there, you might find some interesting and helpful content to base your eternity on. Where will you spend it and why? One of the things that I've been doing for about 1.5 years now is bathing in drinking water, carbon filtered, reverse osmosis, and solar activated drinking water. It's the same water, same type of water that they use in dialysis. Dialysis, hemodialysis, and reverse osmosis uses biomimicry, which is where science has created a thin membrane that mimics what a seabird does to drink water and spit up the salt brine. So they can be out at sea and they've got plenty of water. They're not going to run out of water there. Well, the semi-permeable membrane that I have is my skin. You have it too. And when I bathe in the drinking water, what happens is it draws the toxins out of the body, hydrates me. Because of so many of the toxins that are in our atmosphere, in the weather modification, and toxins in general, sometimes I'll add a 1/4 cup of baking soda, a 1/4 cup of borax, which is 99.9% boron, and magnesium sulfate, which is Epsom salt. All healthy electrolytes that are good for the body. Then I'll put coconut oil on me afterwards in the bathtub there, in about 30 gallons of water. I may gain or lose 7 to 10 pounds in a bath. There's a lot of sweating going on, a lot of liquid exchange happening there. The weight of water changes with temperature. So a gallon of water, the weight of a gallon of water fluctuates based on its temperature. That variance drives the hydrologic or water cycle of the world. The evaporation, condensation, and precipitation in all its forms. So we each have our own personal petri dish of our life experience, choices that we make to put in healthy or toxic chemicals, foods that have additives that can be helpful or harmful. Another component in my what I'm doing is putting in healthy nutrients. I'll give you fruits and vegetables and liquefy them. And I buy frozen fruits. I'll buy, 15 pounds of bananas and peel them and put them in the freezer. And then I'll liquefy them along with mixed berries, pineapple, fresh fruit if I have some as well. Frozen fruit is a little bit more economical. And then I'll use chia seed, hemp hearts, apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, all very powerful for providing good nutrients in the gut, in our prunes as well. Plenty of fiber in what I mentioned to keep things moving. Broccoli and spinach. And it's a tasty beverage that I can drink. You know, I can drink 20 ounces of it in less than a minute if I'm in a hurry. And it'll hold me all day. So I typically keep some in the refrigerator, so if I'm hungry and, well, I'll just go and have a big gulp of it and I'm good for a long time. The chia seed absorbs 9 times its weight in liquid. So when I add the chia seed after all the nutrients are liquefied in there, it absorbs them and time releases them through the day. So a friend of mine yesterday he went into an insulin shock. Unfortunately, he's overweight and has health concerns, health issues. And the EMTs came there and helped him out. He drank some fluid with electrolytes, and he's okay right now. I have another friend who's had problems with diabetes, and he's had a couple of strokes, and he probably won't be coming back to live in our neighborhood. He's not doing well. So I share that with you because what we put in our body, on our skin, also affects our brain function. A lot of the personal hygiene products are very unhealthy. A lot of the cleaning supplies are unhealthy. So like what I'll do for washing my hands and cleaning dishes, I'll use baking soda and borax. I'll heat it up in some, like a half a gallon of water and put a quarter cup of baking soda and borax in there, stir it up, bring it to a boil, and put it in a couple of vinegar bottles so I can put it on sponges and towels. I don't want the chemicals that are in a lot of the commercial products to have a dermal exposure. I don't want to have a dermal exposure, my skin, to toxic additives of cleaning supplies or personal hygiene products. A little bit of that water for brushing my teeth works great. A little bit of that water underneath my arms kills body odor instantly. And when I have the coconut oil on my skin, it stops the irritation. I put the coconut oil on all of me so that I'm protected from damaging effects of the sun. When the sun is low on the horizon, it's further away from the eyes of the observer. The sun, moon, and stars move above the stationary and level Earth. Thing to keep in mind, there would be no plumb, that's exactly vertical, or level if we were spinning, wobbling, gyrating. One of the reasons why I go back to that is because it's a bit of a litmus test if you're wanting to know the truth or not. If you can believe that we're spinning over 1,000 miles an hour, I can tell you, I know you're deceived about that, because the Earth isn't moving. The wind, water, people, a lot of movement going on, just not the Earth. So the truth isn't based on popular opinion. It's not popular, and it's not an opinion. It's simply the reality. So in the time of my broadcast, it will have been about a half an hour total. I started out with the tripod exactly where it is, and I've recorded. And you should be able to notice that the sun is moving towards us. In the summer, the sun comes up way over on the left side of the view. And then in the winter, it'll come up way on the right side. The sun, moon, and stars move different courses above this stationary Earth. You can know, if you want to, that the supposed movement of the Earth has never been proven. That means that all the space fantasy is just that, it's science fiction. That's how I found it. And that proclamation is not popular. People largely believe what they want to believe. So is it actually true or something else? So I'm convinced that it's only by divine intervention, God intervening, that's going to help somebody know the ultimate truth. Where will you spend eternity and why? All of God's children were conceived in His mind before the foundation of the world. That's a powerful reality. Oh, you're good. See, there's up and down, not upside down in relationship to one another. Like a wind chime doesn't hang upside down in relationship to another wind chime. So I put my contact information out there so you can call me if you like. Garbage in, garbage out is a paradigm that many of us are familiar with. The truth is a powerful food for thought. And healthy nutrition and limiting toxic exposure is a very profound way and helpful way of being able to assess the situation that we're living in. That's why I do this, so people can make an informed choice on their eternity. So is everything you or I believe actually true? 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 says to everybody forever, they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion. So people are largely going to believe the lie they apparently want to believe. So like I say, I feel like I woke up in an episode of The Twilight Zone. Because people that claim to love the truth, in many cases I know are totally deceived about much of what's going on. I cover those topics on my YouTube channel that I call Truth. I share through the Truth Network, which includes the liars and the truth tellers. And this is Robert Forsch with the Truth. Thank you so much for your public and private encouragement. Call anytime.